Paranormal Paparazzi.
What the f?
Is this really the most haunted house in America?
This is LaLaurie.
Has something supernatural been causing ominous booms across Wisconsin?
Was it boom or bang? Boom.
Can this woman really predict your pet's future?
My pendulum said yes.
Plus, the Dread Central Report, celebrity tweets, and our ambush interview of the week. Join Aaron Sagers and his team of reporters as they travel the country hunting down stories of the paranormal.
No comment at this point.
On Paranormal Paparazzi.
Listen up, guys. We have a lot of awesome stories to get to today, but I want to start with one that comes out of New Orleans, one of my favorite haunted locations. Josh.
Aaron, believe it or not, there are some places so creepy, even I can't get in.
Located in the French Quarter in New Orleans is one of the most notoriously haunted houses in all of Louisiana, the LaLaurie Mansion. It's rumored that the original owner used to torture slaves inside. In this Paranormal Paparazzi exclusive, our reporter tries to storm the gate.
This is LaLaurie.
The woman who lived here back in the 1800s was just a vicious, twisted, perverse lady. And she used to torture her slaves in the most gruesome, chilling, sickening ways you can imagine. Gouge their eyeballs out. She would break their limbs and let them heal back in weird positions so they look like crabs. And it's weird to think that Nicolas Cage owned this place. Now, the rumor is that Johnny Depp owns it. Now, we don't know if that's true or not. But if true, it's fitting for a guy like Johnny Depp who works with Tim Burton to own some spooky places.
There's a window open. There's lights inside. Look, you can get a little glimpse inside of it. Come on. We got some cops eyeballing us.
Special Agent Warren.
Josh, I have a question for you. Why is New Orleans so haunted? Why do we always hear these stories coming out of New Orleans? What is it?
Yes.
Well, for one thing, you have a blend of cultures there, the voodoo culture, the native culture, the Cajun culture, a lot of spiritualism. And also in New Orleans, they can't bury the dead because of the water table, so the dead stay above ground and are very, very visible.
Is there a correlation between not burying dead and paranormal activity generally?
Absolutely. It seems like there is a peacefulness that cannot come.
But I want to know about this thing. I mean, did she really do that stuff? And how creepy is that, to buzz people up so they look like crabs?
Yeah, it's all true. I mean, she was actually run out of the country because of how horrific her deeds were. And it's weird to me that a guy like Nicolas Cage would want to own a house.
Did they know the history of those houses?
Yeah.
You know, we bought it for that.
It gets weirder, because this is a house of pure evil.
Yes.
And the paranormal history here is that kind of macabre torment could really lead to ghostly activity. We know Nick Cage owned the place. Well, you know what? There's a deeper paranormal connection to that. There was an image of Nick Cage. This is all the Nick Cage we know. All right, let me explain what we're looking at here. This is an image from the Civil War, and the gentleman put this up on eBay, a Civil War photographer collector. He put this up on eBay. Look at this. Look at the similarities here.
That
Look
is
at the connection.
The nose.
Look how close
The eyebrows.
the jaws. What are we looking at?
Even the hairline.
Some say he could be a vampire, and we are literally looking at Nick Cage from 150 years ago.
This is potential vampire Nick Cage, and that could be connected to the paranormal activity and the LaLaurie Mansion. So
That's why he likes spooky places.
this is an intriguing story. I really love it, and I want to move on to another awesome paranormal story out of Phoenix. Scott, tell us about it.
For the anniversary, I went out and checked out the Phoenix Lights.
The Phoenix Lights phenomenon is one of the best documented cases of UFOs in American history. Our reporter traveled to the Valley of the Sun to talk with some eyewitnesses who were still affected by what they saw.
On March 13th, while thousands of people were looking up at the sky purposely to catch a glimpse of the Hale-Bopp comet, they also caught a glimpse of lights, orbs, balls of light. Some people said it was rooftop level. They could even throw a stone at it. Other people saw it take off at a tremendous speed without a sound. I called around the next morning, found air traffic controllers at Sky Harbor International Airport. They saw the same thing at the same time, actually hovering over Class B restricted airspace, about 1,000 feet altitude, and they were alarmed because nothing should be there. So I said, so what was it? And one of them said, beats me.
What do they think it is?
You know what, they thought it was flares. They thought it was military flares, and then they did this experiment where they shot the flares up there, but it was not the same pattern. You know, hundreds, maybe thousands of people saw the same thing the same time on the same night.
This is a huge ongoing story of mass sightings, mass UFO sightings, and she is a well-regarded expert on this. What else did she have to say?
You know, she has a really great theory.
What we're looking towards is similar to the view that my husband and I have from our mountainside home, where we can see South Mountain on the left and the Estrella Mountains a bit further back on the right. My photographs keep showing that these phenomena keep popping up in that area. Interestingly, there is a basin in between those two mountain ranges that the Gila River Indian Reservation is situated on, which is very sacred ground. They shared with me that they've been seeing these phenomena for centuries. They call them sky people, light beings. In fact, the Estrellas were named after a star in Spanish because of these phenomena popping in and out, very similar to what thousands of people saw here on March 13th, 1997.
Has the government come out and actually said what these things are? Have they even made mention of it?
They keep saying it's flares, but the people who saw it know that they weren't looking at flares.
This is an interesting story, and it's one that apparently could go back far longer than we even knew. And if this is real, I cannot think of a better use of resources to explore phenomena. With all these people seeing it, we have to look further into it.
What bizarre boom is keeping Wisconsinites awake at night?
Hey!
Find out on Paranormal Paparazzi.
Let's keep it moving, guys. I know we think of the Midwest as quiet and peaceful, but Branden, you found some paranormal activity down there.
Oh, indeed. I'm from the Midwest, and what I found out in Clintonville, Wisconsin, I've never heard anything like that in all my years living in the Midwest. You got to check it out.
In this quaint heartland town of Clintonville, Wisconsin, citizens have been waking up in the middle of the night to a series of mysterious booms. Paranormal Paparazzi sent a reporter out to investigate.
No one would have ever guessed that the 2012 idea of what people think will happen in 2012 was ever going to start in Clintonville, Wisconsin. This is our city. This northeast section of the city was where the majority of the calls came in. And over the course of a couple days, it sort of spread to the west and to the south. Basically, everybody thinks it sounds like bang! And the floor below you shakes.
I was watching the basketball, and there was like a boom, you know, just like thunder. I thought, gee, I didn't know it was going to rain, so I went out on the porch. I looked up in the sky, and there was all stars. And at about 3 o'clock in the morning it was. And that's when she really banged.
She really banged?
I mean,
the sound really banged?
The sound really whack.
Was it boom or bang?
Boom, and then a shake.
Do you trust the United States government?
Sure.
You don't think that saying that earthquakes would be a cover-up for something larger? Like, I don't know, something paranormal like UFOs or something mysterious that just isn't natural?
No.
You know, the first woman you interviewed, she kind of connects this to the Mayan 2012 prophecies, and then you also bring up that the government is saying that this was just earthquakes, a series of earthquakes.
Well, I talked to the mayor of Clintonville, Wisconsin, and they brought in their own team of investigators, and the government determined that, you know what, this was seismic activity.
No, I beg to differ. I've lived in California for 15 years. I have seen and felt my fair share of earthquakes. Doesn't make that sound.
Is that by a fault line even, or is that an earthquake area?
No, they've only had one earthquake in the history of Clintonville, Wisconsin, and for this to happen on 5 nights back to back to back to back, it makes it sound very, very crazy.
Like sonic boom or something, maybe, no?
Well, the ground is shaking, though, and maybe a sonic boom wouldn't create that. So it could be something from within the earth.
That's
That is freaky.
Yeah.
I went down to City Hall and they actually gave me a recording of what they found, and this is what those booms sounded like.
Whoa.
Wow. All right.
Easy.
Yeah, I guarantee you that is no earthquake.
Well, the government says earthquake, so...
There's no way.
No, it sounds like it's the pounding or the walking or like a really heavy footstep of some huge beast.
It makes you feel tiny.
Yeah, well, we don't know what it is. What we do know is that the people of that town seem to not buy the earthquake excuse.
It's time for Celebrity Tweets.
Okay, so our first paranormal tweet comes from Christian Fortune. He was in the movie New Year's Eve. Hard to sleep when you know your place is haunted and you keep hearing creepy things.
What that was little Debbie knocking for her curling iron.
Julie, not a lot of people are going to go out there and say, yeah, I've had a paranormal experience. So why do you think a celebrity might?
I don't know. I mean, sure, it could be for attention, but maybe he actually felt something and he felt the need to share it with everybody else.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so our next tweet comes from Miss Victoria Beckham, David Beckham's wife, also known as Posh Spice. She says, UFO hovering above our house last night, XVB. So, of course, she does live in LA. She lives in Hollywood, so it could have been any number of things. Maybe some camera flashes, maybe
a prop UFO than for shooting in film.
Or it could have been aliens coming to get a first-hand look of her new clothing line.
Well,
it could be somebody just wanted to look at her.
If we remember the 1997 movie Spice World, and I do, the UFOs visited the Spice Girls and said they were big fans and wanted tickets to their concerts. So maybe there's a connection.
I love that you're man enough to admit that you actually watched and possibly enjoyed that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Our third tweet is from indie rocker Ryan Adams. He says, in Newcastle, looking for some haunted, scary place to investigate with nerd paranormal equipment. Anybody? I think he's tweeting to you, Josh.
I've got a whole warehouse, so
I know
I'm the guy.
You know, Ryan Adams, I like this tweet because he's saying, I want to go out and ghost hunt. And he even had a song called Ghost where he said, I'm in love with a ghost.
Have you ever had a paranormal experience?
I have. I've had a few. Weirdest thing I ever felt was is someone stole this cape from a museum. It was like looked like a vampire cape. And I remember my brother Sly said he inherited this thing. He goes, this thing is really creepy. And I remember putting it on one time. And this surge of power, it was the scariest thing. I threw it off. I said, this is really weird, man. This is like really weird. And I remember I went into a closet where we had it, and I turned that and a book fell off the shelf. Count Dracula. Whoa, man. I said, this thing's got to go, dude. I said, this is not working for me, because that's freaky.
It's time for the Dread Central Report.
Hi, I'm Derek Mears. I'm an actor here in Los Angeles, and I'm kind of known for punching people in the face and throwing them out windows. The roles that people most know me for, the most notable is Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, 2009, classic Predator from Predators, and Kick Puncher from the TV show Community. I grew up basically a nerd. I was a misfit. I was different than other people. I have a disorder called alopecia, and what that is my body sees my hair as a foreign obstacle, so it rejects it. I fell into acting because I love to do role-playing games. I love Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, oh my God, how do I do this the rest of my life? And acting was the closest thing. So my job in my life is to tell stories, and I love it.
Derek is a very imposing guy who has killed a lot of people on screen, but
absolutely.
in person is actually a very gentle soul and a very sweet guy. He's got a great head for a hockey mask. So, moving on. Rachel, you have a bit of a different kind of story for us, right?
Yes, I was in New Jersey and met a terribly fascinating woman.
Our reporter recently visited Jersey City, New Jersey, to talk to a woman with an incredible claim. She can communicate psychically with animals.
Is it English that the animals are speaking, or is it visual imagery that they're sending you? Are they sending you words?
All of the above. One dog, his owner was there, and she asked me, how does he feel about the food? And before she could even finish the sentence, he was yelling, more beef, and I heard that.
I have some pictures I want to talk to you about, some different animals.
Sure.
Now, this is President Obama's dog, Bo.
Right.
Does he enjoy living in the White House?
He sees it as an honor, an important job.
Here we have Crystal. Crystal is the monkey from The Hangover 2. How did she feel about her co-stars on the film?
She feels they were self-centered.
So this is Bigfoot. Is this real?
Well, my pendulum said yes, it's real.
How many are there? What's the general size of the population globally?
I'm getting a number 625.
Is that North American? Is that global, including the Tibet and the Australia and the other sightings?
Worldwide.
This is huge for us.
We got a number. We got a number.
Bigfoot news. I'm breaking Bigfoot
You know what?
news.
We can close the case on Bigfoot here and now.
Now we know. She said that they are aware that we're looking for them, but
Right.
she said that they choose to stay hidden. They know what we're doing.
625 could be its weight. If it was close to 1,000 Bigfoots, I'm sure it'd be
She's saying
more
that's the
spotted.
population. That is the population. 625 Sasquatch-type animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about the pet side of it?
More beef.
More beef, yeah. They're simple in their needs. She is able to just kind of receive these messages. All she needs is a photo, and she can put her hand on it and kind of connect with that animal.
Even if she doesn't know anything about
Yeah,
that
even without any information. I mean,
You know, I wrote a book about animals and the paranormal, and I think all animals are more psychic than humans because they don't have someone standing there saying, you can't do this. They just use what comes natural, and they have all these additional senses.
It's obviously a very touching kind of story. You know, I'm a pet lover, animal lover. Who wouldn't want to communicate with their animals and know what they're thinking? But I don't know that I am convinced about her
Yeah, I mean,
abilities.
Rachel, you were there, you interviewed her. Do you really think she was telling the truth?
to be honest with you, I think she is telling the truth. I don't know what it meant. I know that we lost our dog, and I did ask her about it, and we didn't get any concrete information, but I did feel better, so.
Gretchen.
Oh my God, it's Sona from the Travel Channel. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Have you ever lived in a haunted house?
Well, interestingly enough, you should ask me that because everyone thinks my house is haunted.
Really?
I have an old 1926 mansion, Hollywood mansion. I have people that will not go into my bar that they say there's something so evil down there. I put up this band all the time from Chicago. When they come to visit, for whatever reason, if there is something happening, it seems to happen when they're there. They insist that there is a masturbating ghost in my bar somewhere. I know, and you know what, at first it didn't really bother me, but then I asked the psychic, I'm like, is there, people in my house? Because people keep saying it's haunted. She goes, there is, but it's all really good people. It's only your family members. So now that kind of freaks me out. Like, who is my pervy ancestor that's masturbating in my basement?
Okay, wow.
My son is already freaked out. My kids won't go downstairs. I would love to find out.
Why are you guys so freaked out? What have you experienced there?
My daughter tells me all the time there's someone standing outside in the middle of the night. I don't know, I just am such a skeptic. I'm thinking somebody's playing a joke on me, but I don't know. Who knows about that?
So in the realm of paranormal pop culture, there are a ton of really cool projects happening, especially on TV. And Scotty, you had a chance to check one out in California, right?
I got the opportunity to spend some time with my heroes. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm actually out in front of the Fear Net offices. This is the place where Adam Green and Joe Lynch are working on one of their amazing products called Holliston. I know they're in here somewhere. Hi.
What's going on?
Hi, my name is Scott Gruenwald. How are you?
Scott, we're good.
Are you guys in the middle of something? I'm such a huge fan.
Oh, thank you.
Joe, oh my God.
Hi.
I'm here in the presence of awesomeness, Corey.
Hi.
Corey and oh God, I know you too. Let's talk about Holliston, okay?
Yes, it's a TV show. It's a classic multi-camera sitcom about two guys that are aspiring horror movie filmmakers. So it's really completely based on my own life. But then it's also got this great love story going on where Corey plays my ex-girlfriend that I'm trying to get back together with. And Laura plays Joe's girlfriend on the show. There's an episode where to help us out for our movie trailer, we're making a movie called Shin Pads about an undead soccer team. When they score, you die. Everybody has that period where they either get out of high school or college or whatever. So everyone's telling you no, and that's really what the show's about. But there's a very positive message behind the whole thing that if you hang in there and roll with the punches, it will eventually get better.
Have you ever had anything happen on the set that was something strange you couldn't,
Actually, when we were scouting for Frozen, we went up every chairlift on all these mountains trying to find the right spot to shoot the movie in. And we went up this one chairlift and we hit this spot where there was no way you could jump. And I blurted out, "This is where they die." And the chair stopped. And so we're on the chair and we're all like, this is really freaky. Turns out there was a guy who was a Ski Mountain employee there who 2 years before that had climbed up the ladder when the mountain was closed onto one of the chairs and committed suicide. He shot himself in the chair. There's a bullet hole in the back of the chair. And I thought this was just a story. At Sundance, I told this story to the audience, and a woman there in Utah stood up and said, "I knew him, it's totally true." And people there knew it. So it was true.
That's freaky.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
you know, I actually was at the Sundance Film Festival the year that Frozen, the movie, premiered, and I was there in the audience and all that went down. It was pretty freaky.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yep.
Well, I'm a big fan of Adam. I like his movies. Holliston, it's sort of this Big Bang Theory for the horror genre, and it just signals to me that horror comedies, they're big business.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys, there's more unexplained to explore, so let's pack it up and get out there.